So, Christopher Nolan doing the Odyssey. What's all that about? Like, I kinda know the story. Isn't it just a guy trying to get home?
Sort of, but it's so much more than just that. Odysseus is this legendary hero who fought in the Trojan War and spends 10 years trying to return to his home, Ithaca. Along the way, he faces all these incredible challenges. Cyclops, sirens, shipwrecks, and even gods trying to stop him.
Wait, God's trying to stop him? What did he do to tick them off?
Well, he's clever, but he's also arrogant, which doesn't sit well with Poseidon. Plus, Odysseus is constantly testing his limits, whether it's outsmarting enemies or defying the odds. That's why his story is so timeless. It's not just about getting home. It's about perseverance, wit, and the cost of being a hero.
That sounds epic, and it makes total sense for Nolan to do this. I mean, he loves characters who are brilliant but flawed.
Exactly. Nolan's protagonists are always grappling with their own nature. Odysseus fits right into that mold.
Okay, so hear me out. Nolan loves complex protagonists, right? What if he makes Odysseus, like, morally ambiguous? You know, someone who's super clever but does things you're not sure you can root for?
That's actually a good point. Odysseus is cunning, but he's also prideful and deceptive. Nolan could definitely highlight the cost of his decisions, the lives lost, and the people betrayed.
I'm sure the Trojan horse sequence will be amazing. Nolan could show it from a signature multiple perspective direction, like showing the Trojans celebrating, then cutting to Odysseus hidden inside, calculating every move, and maybe incorporating another timeline or perspective within the sequence.
Right. It'll be tense and methodical. We all know Nolan thrives on building suspense like that. And the gods. I personally think it could be interesting if he portrays them as abstract forces rather than literal deities, kinda like the future human beings Cooper meets in the Tesseract in Interstellar.
Oh, totally. And the sirens. What if their song isn't just music, but something psychological?
Yeah, that would align with Nolan's exploration of memory and identity. The sirens could represent the allure of nostalgia, tempting him to give up his journey. Or they could tap into Odysseus' memories or regrets by showing him visions of Ithaca.
And of course, the Cyclops. He's gotta be terrifying, but not just a monster. Maybe Nolan makes the Cyclops this tragic figure, like someone Odysseus tricks but you kinda feel bad for.
I could see that. Polyphemus might be depicted as more than just a brute, maybe as a symbol of isolation or blindness, both literal and metaphorical.
And the visit to the underworld. I feel like that's where Nolan would go full-on mind-bending. Like Odysseus confronting the shades of his past, literal ghosts of his decisions.
And it wouldn't just be visually surreal. It would be emotionally intense. Nolan might use it to explore the weight of leadership, the people he couldn't save.
I also think the underworld could be Nolan's opportunity in the horror genre, which is a genre that he expressed interest in trying out, so that could be super cool.
That's true. You did see some parts of horror in Oppenheimer, but I think the underworld sequence could offer plenty more opportunities when directing horror.
You know what would make it even better? If Nolan plays with the timeline. Like showing scenes of Odysseus' wife, Penelope, in Ithaca as she waits and deals with the suitors, while also cutting to Odysseus' journey at sea, broken into fragments. Kind of like how Dunkirk showed different timelines of the same story but brought them together emotionally at the end.
That's brilliant. He could use the overlapping timelines to parallel Odysseus' mental state. Fractured, overwhelmed, but still determined. The whole film could feel like a puzzle coming together piece by piece.
And the emotional payoff would be huge. Like, when he finally gets home and sees his wife, Penelope, you'd feel the weight of everything he's been through. But I bet Nolan would keep it ambiguous. Maybe not everything is as perfect as it seems.
Definitely. Odysseus might win back his home, but the journey changes him. It's not just about reclaiming Ithaca. It's about understanding the cost of what he's lost.
Yeah, and maybe even questions if the journey was worth it. Like, Nolan could make us think, is home really the same after you've been gone for so long?
That's the kind of moral ambiguity Nolan thrives on. For Nolan, it's not just about the destination. It's about what the journey reveals about human nature.
Man, and think of the IMAX shots. Huge sweeping visuals of the sea, the storms, and the monsters.
And yet, Nolan would balance it with intimacy. Those quiet moments of Odysseus alone, questioning himself. The contrast would make the epic scale even more impactful.
So it's not just going to be another epic. It'll be a psychological deep dive with some insane action.
Exactly. If he pulls this off, it could redefine epic cinema. Modern filmmaking meeting ancient storytelling.
It's funny though, Nolan just did Oppenheimer, and that film had this whole Prometheus myth running through it. You know, the guy who gave fire to humanity and got punished for it. Now he's jumping into a full-on Greek myth.
You could say it's a natural progression. Prometheus is the ultimate cautionary tale about ambition and sacrifice, and Odysseus shares that same hubris. He's constantly pushing boundaries, just like Oppenheimer, and it always comes with consequences.
Yeah, but Odysseus survives it all. Well, mostly. It's like Nolan's taking the mythic scale of Oppenheimer and turning the volume up to 11.
And in a way, both stories are about humanity's relationship with power. Oppenheimer gave us the bomb. Odysseus gave us the archetype of the flawed hero.
It'll be great. I'll probably just have to watch it 5 times just to catch everything.
That's the Nolan experience. It's not just a movie, it's a challenge.